Grant, hypothetically, if you choose for a moment, that there is no universal experience as a concrete fact, but only the hope of it, the definition of it, the will to win it, the groaning and travail of the whole of finite experience in the search for it, in the error of believing that it is. Well, what will that mean? This ultimate limitation, this finally imprisoned finitude, this absolute fragmentariness and error of the actual experience that aims at the absolute experience, when then there is no absolute experience at which to aim. This absolute finiteness and erroneousness of the real experience, I say, will itself be a fact, a truth, a reality, and, as such, just the absolute truth. But this supposed ultimate truth will exist for whose experience? For finite experience? No. For although our finite experience knows itself to be limited, still, just as insofar as it is finite, it cannot know that there is no unity beyond its fragmentariness. For if any experience actually knew, that is, actually experienced, itself to be the whole of experience, it would have to experience how and why it was so. And if it knew this, it would be ipso facto an absolute, i.e., a completely self-possessed experience, for which there was no truth that was not, as such, a datum, no ideal of a beyond that was not, as such, judged by the facts to be meaningless, no thought to which a presentation did not correspond, no presentation whose reality was not luminous to its comprehending thought. Only such an absolute experience could say with assurance, "Beyond my world there is no further experience actual." But if, by hypothesis, there is to be no such an experience, but only a limited collection of finite experiences, the question returns. The reality of this final limitation, the existence of no experience beyond the broken mass of finite fragments, this is to be a truth. But for whose experience is it to be a truth? Plainly, in the supposed case, it will be a truth nowhere presented, a truth for nobody. But, as we saw before, to assert any absolute reality as real is simply to assert an experience. And, in fact, just insofar as the reality is absolute, an absolute experience for which this reality exists. To assert a truth as more than possible is to assert the concrete reality of an experience that knows this experience. Hence, and here indeed, is the conclusion of the whole matter. The very effort, hypothetically, to assert that the whole world of experience is a world of fragmentary and finite experience is an effort involving a contradiction. Experience must constitute in its entirety one self-determined and consequently absolute and organized whole. Otherwise put, all concrete or genuine and not barely possible truth is, as such, a truth somewhere experienced. This is the inevitable result of the view which we started when we said that without experience there is no knowledge. For truth is, so far as it is known. Now, this proposition applies as well to the totality of the world of finite experience as it does to the parts of that world. There must, then, be an experience to which is present the constitution, i.e., the actual limitation and narrowness, of all finite experience, just as surely as there is such a constitution. That there is nothing at all beyond this limited constitution must, as a fact, be present to this final experience. But this fact that the world of finite experience has no experience beyond it could not be present, as a fact, to any but an absolute experience, which knew all that is, or that genuinely can be known. And the proposition that a totality of finite experience could exist without there being an absolute experience thus proves to be simply self contradictory.